slightly less technical run through of what's happened on the last couple of months and what's been going on. Top stories of 2008. So we go on. Some important things. Loads of websites have actually gone live with Facebook Connect. For months and months, Facebook were talking about it and people were going on about it, but over the last couple of months, it's actually in place. You can go and use it. There's been lots of arguments over breastfeeding photos and whether they should be allowed on Facebook. The news that Facebook has reached over 150 million active users, with half of those logging in every single day, which is pretty impressive for any website. And so I'm going to take a quick look at the growth of status update apps around political events. The top 5 Facebook stories of 2008, which we chose this afternoon, and also the top 5 Facebook Fund winners. We went through the 25 ones that Facebook had chosen in November, and now they've given $250,000 to their 5 nominees. So first, the status updates. This was during the Israel-Gaza war. First, Kazam count launched on Twitter, basically updating with the amount of rockets falling on Israel, and that was turned into a Facebook app. And basically the way it worked was that it just automatically updated your Facebook status a number of times a day. And then there were pro-Palestinian ones as well, doing the same thing on the other side. And this kind of drove really huge viral growth. They grew to hundreds of thousands of users. And then Obama and CNN, obviously for the inauguration, CNN did a Facebook Connect implementation, and they had over 1.5 million Facebook status updates and comments put on, which is obviously pretty, absolutely massive. In response to some of especially the Gaza and Israel stuff, Facebook have actually changed their policy on status updates. So you can no longer automatically update people's status updates. They've got to do something active to update it. So ones before, you'd install the app and then your status update would automatically update a number of times a day, and that's no longer possible. So you can still update people's statuses from the apps, which is a great viral mechanism, but users have actually got to do it themselves or click on something. So that's one major trend. Top 5 Facebook stories. So the Facebook Fund. So Facebook got together with some of its VC firms as well and got $10 million, which they basically decided to dole out in grants, essentially, non-exclusive grants to applications which they thought were doing good things or they liked, which is a pretty good indication of where they want to go. We went through the top 25 in November, and I'll go through the ones they've chosen as the top 5 in a minute. They shut down a highly successful app called Human Pets, basically because in the app itself it allowed users to upload photos, and users were uploading porn as a way of getting away from Facebook's own restrictions. And they basically shut it down because the developer didn't have the resources to moderate it himself. So it's really important if you're doing anything UGC-wise on Facebook, if there's any chance that users are going to be breaking Facebook's terms and conditions, it's completely your responsibility to ensure that's moderated. It's important to keep in mind before you put too many resources into anything like that. The Facebook redesign that launched last year and had lots of outcry. Scott from Lookery claimed the platform's dead for applications. Subsequently, didn't really prove to be true. Made it a lot harder for applications which relied on profile boxes. Facebook Connect, which we've gone over, and also the single app rumored to make $1 million a month, possibly Mob Wars, which there's been loads of rumors about, but no one's entirely sure. But that kind of reinforced that one of the biggest monetizations on the social networks came from the digital currencies rather than just advertising. And there's more and more games and apps have seen that. So the Facebook Fund winners, these are the top 5 apps that Facebook chose to give $250,000 in grants. First one was GroupCard, which was essentially an application started as a website which lets different users put together a kind of virtual card and allows your whole group to sign it and put their messages before it's sent to someone, which is quite nice, and they've got kind of millions of users and it's being very popular. Mouse Hunt, which was just similar to kind of Mousetrap, very, very similar, very nicely designed, fun game, which has got loads of users. Wedding Book, which I'm not too sure about myself. Especially, you can meet other brides. Not too useful for me. Share your wedding details if you want to do that, and also plan your wedding, which could be quite interesting for monetization-wise if you want to buy your wedding dress on Facebook. We'll see. Wildfire, which is quite interesting. It's essentially a way for companies to launch quizzes and promotions and different games through the application platform, which is really quite interesting from Facebook's point of view. because obviously if they're supporting an app which is essentially taking advertising revenue away from them, does point towards the fact that they're not planning on relying on advertising as their key monetization in the future. And Contagion, which is essentially very, very nice analytics system for the social network apps, which is interesting as well because it shows that if Facebook are throwing money at third-party analytics, it's unlikely they're going to be investing that much money in their own analytics system. So a couple of notes finally. Some of you might have heard of the Whopper sacrifice application. Put your hands up if you heard of it or sacrificed any friends yourself. Haven't yet. So it actually got banned from Facebook or stopped, it broke about 10 terms and conditions when they launched. And they were kind of, you're notifying your friends that they've just been unfriended by you, for example. So they got stopped, but they got about 80,000 users and loads of PR. So I think they probably knew they knew they were going to be stopped, and Facebook probably let them go on a bit longer than they should have. And also, quick note we've added: UK Facebook users how to beat the greedy politicians. So there was a Facebook group launched, and loads of petitions started to try and stop the politicians blocking their expenses being published, even though they just spent £1 million producing them. And it was very successful, and it shows the power of Facebook and social network and social media to organise people to actually make a difference. So that's everything from me.